Hey Taysom, could you just go to start us off by walking us through that touchdown pass to Rashid and what you saw in that play?
Yeah. So it was a favorable look to try to get Rashid one on one, and it was clear that he was going to be one on one with no safety help, and so that's really what I saw pre snap, and man, that's what you're looking for when you're finding opportunities to get the ball down the field to somebody like Rashid. He ran a good route, made a good move, and you know, anytime you can get the ball in his hand, that's a good thing.
How have you seen his confidence grow just from coming in where he is, his training camp, missing time because of his injury, and just him picking up the playbook? I mean, just kind of talk about Rashid and just how his development's going this year.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, but it really is, as I think about it, like I really haven't seen any change in Rashid. Like from the time, he got here, and frankly, I ended up spending a week or so with him as we were rehabbing together as I was coming back from my rib during camp, and he was, going through that stage of his ACL injury. I always saw this confident kid, right from the beginning. So he went out and made plays, and to me, I feel like I saw in him that he knew that he was capable of doing it, and now it just was a matter of getting an opportunity. So I really haven't seen his demeanor change from the time I first met him when he first got here to where he is now, because I believe that he always believed that he was capable of doing it, and now he's getting the opportunities.
Jason, we know you work on those throws during practice and you're a quarterback, but is it difficult in the game when you don't necessarily have the rhythm at that position to make a deep touch throw over a defender in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the hardest transition for me. I think we've talked about this in the past. Where you're running QB power, you're blocking, defensive end, or you're going back to cut, or whatever the situation is, or whatever the play is, and the most challenging transition is to go from doing those things to putting the ball down the field. So look, it's something that I've had to work on throughout my career, and it's something that I feel like I'm comfortable with managing that, and but it's just it is one of those things that I spend a lot of time on through the week. I try to replicate, go from not throwing many balls or doing other things to pushing something down the field. So. It's something that I continue to work on, something that I want to continue to get better at too.
Taysom, just like a little like how things work question. So there's a difference between you have a play and you have read. You could go to anyone based on what you see from the defense, and then there I assume is a difference between those like shot plays that you're drawing up during the week and you're specifically hoping. I think we're going to hit Rashid Shaheed on this play. I mean, was this one of those plays that you're like, if we get the look, I mean, that's exactly what it was designed to do, like during the week, or?
Yeah. I think what you said in the latter end of that question is right. We have different packages, and to be honest, you never quite know how a defense is going to defend me, right? So. When we enter a game, we have different possibilities and different scenarios, and hey, we're getting this, and so we like this play against that, and so that was one of those circumstances that we said, hey, if we end up getting this, we really like this, and we think that this is obviously an advantageous matchup for us, with no free safety help, and that's what it was.
Well, I mean, I guess I ask because when you have a player like Rashid Shaheed, it seems so simple for people to wonder, why don't you just throw it deep to him all the time? But I mean, it's kind of like you need things to line up for that to work. And when you saw it, did your eyes kind of light up like, oh, this one's going to work?
Sorry, yeah. I mean, what you said is exactly right. I mean, if we knew how defense was going to line up every single play, then playing offense or calling plays would be really easy, and that's not the reality. So, look, we try to take advantage when we get a look that's advantageous to something like that. And yes, when I saw it, it was something that man, I felt like we were going to have a good opportunity. That's a tough matchup for anybody. You get Rashid in open space and a guy that can fly with no help over the top. It's a tough deal.
Is he one of the faster receivers you've dealt with? He's got some wheels.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know as I think about historically, but it's hard to find guys that can run like him.
Taysom, you obviously worked a little bit more with Juwan Johnson this year, and especially being in tight end room. Just what have you seen from him? And he also talked about yesterday the confidence as an undrafted guy carrying a chip on his shoulder. Guys like you, Rashid, and him. Just talk about him and how he's doing this season. What you've seen from him.
Well, I love Juwan. Juwan's a great friend, and I've had a lot of fun working with him. And he's a guy that puts in the extra time. He's out early to practice, stays late, prepares really hard. But he's one of those guys that's just a unique matchup. Man, he's a big, physical, fast player, and he was able to utilize all of those things yesterday. And his ability to make a catch, but then to go get some yards after the catch and go make a play like that. And he's a big guy, and he's tough to bring down. And we saw that yesterday. And he's a playmaker, and so he's one of those guys that again, we're obviously trying to get the ball in his hands.
Did you know after that passing touchdown that you made some NFL history?
No, I did not. Look, I don't pay too close attention to statistics. Obviously care about wins and losses and everything else like that. But no, I was unaware of that.
I was actually going to ask you about that too. I mean, we've talked about your learning to embrace your unique role a lot. Obviously, I know you'd like to go down the quarterback path, but it does seem like once a month there's a stat like Taysom Hill is the first player to do this since LaDainian Tomlinson or Walter Payton or Frank Gifford or ever. Is there some pride in you're doing things that have never been done before or haven't been done in 50 years?
Honestly, I don't really think about that too much. Look, I think anytime you see statistics like that, I think for me personally, I feel a lot of gratitude. We've talked about the uniqueness of what I've done, or what I've been able to do, but I wouldn't be able to do it without the people around me. I wouldn't have been able to do that without coaches that were willing to take a chance or create opportunities for me, because nobody else had done that in the past. And so I think as I think about these statistics or what you're bringing up or alluding to, that's really what hits me. And then I think the other side of that is I take a lot of pride in being able to find ways to help this organization win football games. And so those are really the two things that hit me or what I think about.
Hey, Taysom, going back to Juwan, have you two kind of bonded over the last year, whether it's similar interests off the field or just the unique circumstances of both kind of learning this position, I guess, at the same time? Which sounds weird to say, but,
Yeah. Yeah, we for sure have. I think historically, I spent all my time in the QB room with those guys, and so naturally you spend most of your time there with them. And this year I was kind of, I've been a foot in both rooms, and so create an opportunity for me to get to know the tight ends better. And as you're mentioning, Juwan and I'd had conversations with Juwan early in the year about his learning curve and how long, if he felt like it took him to transition or feel like he understood the offense at that position. And so, yeah, we'd had multiple conversations like that. He was really helpful to me in talking to him that way. Man, I'm super happy with how he's been playing. Super happy for him and proud of him and for the effort that he's put into it to make that transition and to go out and find success.
Have you guys ever thought about just how unique this tight end room is? All of y'all had very interesting and unique circumstances to get to where you are now, whether it's you or Jawan or even Troutman.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we haven't sat down and really talked about that, or I personally haven't really thought about that. But yeah, I mean, it's a unique room. I think it's a great room. I think that, that room specifically is one that, I think everybody understands their role and how we can help our offense be successful, how we can help this team win games, and there's a lot of great friendships, relationships in that room, which carries over onto the field too, I believe, and it has been a great room to be part of.